time. So thank you everyone for joining us today in this webinar where we want to show you a very cool toolkit for migrating your Macola database into SAP Business One. Together with me today is John Liebold, who is really going to be leading this webinar. And we might have Mark Baker, but if not, he already shared with us a recording of the demo, and he wasn't sure he was going to be able to make it today. So thank you, John, for being here with us. My name is Clara Custodio. I lead customer experience here at Consensus. And a few housekeeping notes. The session is being recorded, so you will all have access to it afterwards. All participants have been muted by default, but if you do have a question throughout the presentation or the demo, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, and we will get to as many questions as we can at the end of the demo. We believe that this presentation and demo shouldn't take longer than 20 to 25 minutes. We are going to be closing our cameras now to be bandwidth smart. So I'll be shutting down my camera. And John, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Clara. Thank you very much. So good morning, everyone. One of the biggest challenges that most companies face in moving to a new ERP platform is definitely the migration of their historical data. That's the DNA of a company. And a really important part, and there's so many different ways to approach it, but there are so many aspects of it that we have to consider. But the tool that we're going to go over today is a really nice tool to really facilitate that and shave a lot of hours and eliminate a lot of errors and actually bringing your historical data along with you to SAP Business One. So before I start getting into this real quickly, I'm going to use the speed dating approach to this, but let me make a few introductions. One, Mark Baker is the senior consultant and engineer who helped build this tool, designed it. It is a very elegant tool.
I apologize. It looks like John lost connection to the audio. Give us a minute, and while he gets connected again.
Hello, I'm back. Can you hear me, Clara?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, my apologies about that. I had just introduced Mark Baker when my connection dropped, but my apologies. My name is John Liebold. I've been working with enterprise systems for about 30 years. Started my career as a finance analyst at Ford Aerospace, where I was really involved with systems. Got recruited by J.D. Edwards in Denver. They moved me to Miami to help open up their Latin America operations. And right after that, I was recruited by Macola to help them open up Latin America. So that's a little bit about me. I'd like to, just a couple things about Consensus. Consensus is began as a Macola reseller some 30 years ago back in Colombia. They had moved over to SAP about a good 15 years or so ago, and are now in the top 3 partners in North America, and we've done about 900 implementations. An important distinction I'd like to make about SAP Business One, I'm sure most of you know this, but in case you don't, SAP Business One is not the big enterprise class S/4HANA or any that solution. This is a technology that was designed specifically for the small to mid-sized companies. It's a clean sheet design, and one of the initiatives, well, there were several really important initiatives, but most importantly, the initiative behind it was to really bring this tier 1 functionality to the SMEs, and the product has just been ever evolving. It's a very impressive product, especially if you're coming off of Macola. You'll see a lot of things in this product that I often make the analogy that if Macola were to have continued their original development trajectories and stuff when it was a privately held company, it would have probably looked very much like SAP is today. Very interesting to note. We began about a year ago on a really important mission to begin helping Macola customers move to SAP Business One in the most seamless and cost-effective way possible. We have a top 10 reasons. Next slide, please, Clara, of why we think that moving from Macola to SAP is critical. But number 1 would be strategic. I mean, this is a platform for growth. It uses advanced technology and has really, really robust functionality that's above and beyond the rich functionality of Macola. They have a real proven track record of continuous advancements and improvements. So whenever you look at SAP Business One, if you were to look at it 10 years ago, it's obviously a significantly deeper, richer product than it is today. Right now, there's some 70,000+ customers running it around the world. So it's really become kind of the gold standard for the small to mid-sized company. And I think one thing that's also very, very important, and particularly those who are running Macola, is that this product has a 10-year roadmap that gets updated and it's prioritized by the customers. This is something that is what I think drives the product to become a very great product, because there is a trajectory, there's a direction, there's continuous improvement, and the maintenance investment that gets made in the product is very significant. So this is not a static product. And lastly, I think the last point on the strategic nature is for companies that put this in. This is a product that's highly extensible, very flexible, and above all, very scalable. So we've got some companies that are in the billion-dollar revenue range with very high transaction volumes that run this. The number 2 of the top 10, this would be the David Letterman top 10, by the way, of reasons would be financial reasons. There's some very compelling reasons why customers would want to make this move from Macola to SAP Business One just on financial principles alone. It is a very powerful enterprise performance product that runs in real time and has visibility and acuity at a level that is impressive. Exact, I think, really strove for this with its Macola product by trying to integrate synergy into it. So the ES product and the EM10 product went that way. They started in that direction, but really kind of failed to execute. They had a data set, an architecture that had multiple databases and synchronization problems and things like that, and it never really got there. SAP, from the very beginning, it's all one big data engine that handles all of this, and it's very scalable. And I think SAP definitely hit the mark here with this, and truly a game changer in this innovative technology that allows you to do in-memory computing. Nobody else is doing that. That's really powerful. Obviously, the key thing there is getting information quickly and rapidly. So it's really been designed from the get-go to support this digital transformation, where we're using things like the Internet of Things and getting information and integrating it into the product. It's designed to connect up and hook to things very, very simply. All kinds of customers are now doing robotics and new business models that they integrate right into SAP. This is just the way it seems to roll these days. You can do some of that in Macola, but it's very painful. And architecturally, it really doesn't support it very well with all the different mix of development tools being used in Macola. So really why this is a financial decision is it makes companies much more agile, much more profitable. The third thing would be about your maintenance revenue that Macola is receiving right now. There's very little, if any, advancements in the product being done, so it's not very good value, quite frankly. Now, on the opportunity to go through an implementation, I like to call this kind of a mulligan, a chance to fix systemic flaws and a plethora of opportunity to improve, simplify, streamline, and automate. So when it gets to the actual implementation, I think a lot of people struggle with implementations and why it's so difficult. Here, this is an opportunity to update, improve, streamline business processes, and create the kind of visibility and acuity that's most important to workflows and metrics in your company, and obviously reducing cycles and automating steps and eliminating redundancy. But why does SAP Business One implement so much faster? Probably, I'd say there's a couple of reasons. One, there is a very good accelerated implementation methodology, which is really a proven structured process that uses this blueprinting process as a comprehensive and complete design of the system. And this whole methodology puts accountability and defines what we're doing and not doing, and it really eliminates a lot of wasted cycles. So the product implements very quickly. The other tools that are out there, things like training, there's a plethora of training opportunities, online vignettes, real simple, very easy to use training opportunities. The product itself, its architecture, its design is super, super easy to use. Customers, their users adopt to it very quickly because of that. There's also some pre-configured setups already done in the system, and the underlying architecture really facilitates a rapid implementation. But probably one of the biggest challenges, and that's what we're going to talk about right now and show you the demonstration of the data migration toolkit, is data migration. This is really important because companies keep their whole history. It's really the company's DNA that we're moving, and that's always a big, big challenge, and certainly one of the biggest risks. Let's take a look now at the tool in action.
Hello, and welcome to a demonstration of the DEX4 Macola application. This application is designed to be a rapid, easy way to extract both primary data as well as active data, or master data versus active data, from Macola databases. This application supports the ES, the EM10, and the progression platforms on SQL. It does not support progression on btrieve. The application is relatively straightforward. Let's take a look at it. All you have to do is enter a server name, your login, and a password. You do need a SQL login and password, not a assumptive Windows connection to the database. Once you've entered the password, the list of available databases will make itself available automatically. And when you select a database, it will determine automatically whether it is a progression or fits into the ES-EM10 model. The master data is all up here. It's capable of pulling out the item master, the item location, the item bin master, material cost types, product categories, your current bill of materials, your historical bill of materials, your customer master, customer addresses, customer contacts, customer item number relationship, AP and AR terms codes, your vendor master, vendor addresses, vendor contacts, and your vendor item master relationships, as well as your ship via codes. Active data supported is your open shop floor orders. You'll receive both the header and the details on that, or your open pop orders, whichever you happen to be using. your projects that are in Macola, any open purchase orders, your open sales orders, your sales history, which will give you all of your past invoicing as well to customers, so their past orders and invoices. Your production value added costs, your product structure costs, your open accounts payable, and your open accounts receivable. All you have to do is check off whichever boxes of information that you want, or you can simply check them all. Browse to or enter a directory that you might want to use. I'll simply enter a directory in here for this database and click on export. From here, you'll actually see the system start to generate the files. It'll tell you how far it needs to go. In this case, this item master has 56,888 records, and you'll actually see the progress moving along in chunks, and that's how it's able to handle some extremely large databases. One thing to note, this application is an installable application. It is not a run simply by clicking on an exe. It does require a setup, and you will be provided with a setup and a license key. As I say, the point of this is to pull as much information as you feel you need for whatever migration or reporting you may need to do outside of the system. As you can see, it simply writes it out. The output is a time-stamped or a date-stamped CSV file. It's to make everything as compatible as possible to whatever you deem necessary for your migration. I'm going to pause here for a minute, just to jump over some of the run. Okay, we're back. We've moved through the item location, the bin master, the material cost type, product categories, and the current bill of materials. And you'll see the files getting generated. One thing to note, the item location, when that comes out, you will actually receive a separate file per item location. You can see how fast some of this stuff comes out. It really does move relatively quickly. Let's just take a look at a particular, say, an item master. You can get an idea of what the extract looks like. So here's a sample idea of an item master. And the item location, of course, has all of the quantities on hand, quantities allocated, standard costing, last cost, average cost, etc. All of that information is exported. I'm going to go ahead and stop the demonstration right here. As you can see, everything is pretty much exactly what you would expect. As I say, you have the database name, the particular information. Here you see the shop, it's working on shop floors. So you've got the shop floor orders there, and the shop floor details are being written now. So we'll go ahead and stop the demonstration at this point. Thank you very much, and we appreciate your interest in this tool.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Good. Very good. So that's kind of the tool and how it works. So you can see it's pretty comprehensive. And I think what's really interesting here is that the level of historical information that we can bring over is very powerful. These are things that used to take us lots and lots of time to grasp and bring it over. So this tool really facilitates that and shaves an enormous amount of time and energy out of the conversion process. So I think that brings us to the conclusion here. I guess we could open it up to questions and answers. Let's start off. Clara, do you have some questions coming up on the board?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Give me just a second. Give me just a second, John.
I'll take the first one. I see A question came in, is SAP Business One an on-premise technology or is it in the cloud? So I guess the answer to that would be very simply, it's both. SAP is agnostic when it comes to deployment. You can deploy it in-house on-premise if you wish, or it can be deployed in the cloud. There's a number of hosting options that are available. Obviously, they all have different service levels, but it can be deployed either in the cloud or on-premise. Next question. How many implementations of SAP Business One have you done? Okay. Consensus right now, we've got a little over 900 implementations of SAP throughout Consensus. And that would be over the last probably 15 years or so. So there's a pretty substantial amount. We've been through it. And I think one important distinction to make here is that Consensus also was the company that deployed the first HANA site in North America. HANA was the new data engine that came out some 4 or 5 years ago. That is the in-memory computing data engine for SAP Business One that's available for the small to mid-sized community. So I don't see any more questions. Are there any more questions out there? If anyone has some questions, please let us know.
Yes, I don't see any more questions here, John.
All right, very good. Then I guess we can wrap up. Again, thank you so much for your time today. If you have any questions, concerns, please let us know. We'd love to talk to you about this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.